Okay, good day, class. So for today's lesson, we are going to talk about the radiation energy transfer. Okay, so our lesson will be radiation energy transfer. So what do we mean by this? So pag sinabi nating radiation energy transfer, this basically pertains to how radiation imparts its energy, which basically that energy incorporated on the molecules of those irradiated tissues on that organism, which is in this case our patient, can produce yung mga effects ng radiation. Kasi dun sa molecules at the atomic level, kapag ka nagbago yung atoms, the way they connect, yung mga bonds ng mga atoms, pagka naapektuhan, the molecules might also mutate, and it might cascade a possible effect of radiation dun sa organism na na-irradiate niya. And again, that is brought by the energy shared or brought by the radiation dun sa tinamaan, specifically at the atomic and molecular level. Kaya pag-usapan natin yung fashion, how the radiation do this. Okay, so in this topic, it's quite important for us to understand the molecular effects of radiation. Again, pag-usapan muna natin yung molecular effects of radiation. Molecular effects, molecular effects of radiation. Okay, so for the molecular effects of radiation, it's quite obvious the different types of interaction that occurring. Particularly, ano ba yung number one dito na concerning for us is yung ionization. Yan, yung ionization. So again, pagka-ionization, removal of electron. At removal of electron. So kapag natanggalan ng electron yung isang atom, and remember that atom, yung mga electrons na yan, yung configuration ng electron sa atom will help in establishing the bonds. Yan, yung molecular bonds. Molecular bonds. Kasi may mga types tayo ng bonds, like yung ating ionic bonds, ay tinatawag na ionic bonds. And these are the two primary types. So marami pa to, pero sila yung pinaka common na type of molecular bonds, ionic and covalent, which is I know you are quite familiar with. So the ionic is brought by the transfer of electron. So for instance, yung sodium, which is a metal, magta-transfer siya ng electron sa chlorine. Kaya dito magiging positive siya dahil matatanggalan siya ng electron, and yung chlorine will become a ion in a chloride form. Kasi magkakaroon siya ng sobra na electron, magiging negative, and that would result into electrostatic attraction, thus creating the ionic bonds. And that bond, kapag nasira, or let's say meron diyang tinamaan yung radiation, either of the participating atom, masisira yung bond na nagdidikit dun sa ating molecule. So similar dun sa ating sa katawan ng patient natin, yung mga ionic bonds masisira kapag may tinamaan na atom yung ating radiation. So on the other hand, covalent bonding is sharing, and sharing of electron. May sharing tayo of electron. So yung halimbawa yung carbon dioxide, yan. So wala ditong magiging transfer, but instead it will be a sharing. So paghahatian nila yung electron sa kanila, meron pa nga itong dalawa, yung polar sa non-polar, which is happening also sa mga biological organisms such as the human body. So may sharing of electrons dyan. So kapag yung pinag-share na electron, yun ang natanggal, or let's say na-ionize, even yung loob, so natanggalan ng electron sa inner shell, yung atom, remember that is not good. Ang gagawin ng atom in order to recover will make the outer shell electrons to jump towards the inner void. Yan. So magja-jump yung mga nasa labas papunta dun sa loob. And remember, yung mga nasa pinakalabas, pinaghahatian siya ng molecular bond natin. So kaya kung matatanggal siya doon, masisira yung bond ng ating atoms. Yung molecule at the big picture will be destroyed. And kung critical yung molecule na yan, it might cause a significant problem doon sa organism na tinamaan ng radiation. And once again, sa nanggaling yon sa energy na nadala ng radiation doon sa mga atoms na involved doon sa molecular band, especially if the energy of the radiation is enough to remove electron. Kaya niyang ma-counter yung binding energy na nag-hold sa electrons ng ating atom. So that's ionization is a significant event na nagagawa ng radiation dun sa mga molecules. Yan. So that is ionization, removal of electron, as simple as that. Kaya malaki ang ano natin dito, malaki ang concern natin pagka ionization yung nangyayari dun sa mga atoms ng na-expose sa radiation, which is in this case our patients. Aside from the ionization, meron din tayong syempre excitation. So sa excitation, yung less concern natin over ionization because this is simply elevation of energy. So kung ma-expose man ang ating atom ng ionizing or let's say ng radiation in general, whether ionizing or non-ionizing, kapag ka hindi enough yung energy na magtanggal ng electron, it would proceed to another type of energy transfer, which is excitation. Sa excitation, walang mangyayaring removal. So no removal, yan, wala siyang removal of electron. Ano lang mangyayari? Tataas lang sa mapupunta lang into higher energy level yung electrons natin. Whether mag-transition siya ng shell doon sa ating atom. So from inner, pupunta siya sa outer. Pero nandun pa rin siya, na hawak-hawak pa rin siya ng atom natin. Hindi siya matatanggal. And it will only result into to metastability. Yan, magiging medyo energetic lang yung atom natin pero hindi siya masisira. Just like what ionization did. Ayan, so raising them to an excited state. Yan, excited, higher energy level. Oftentimes then ionizing are doing that. Pero yung mga ionizing din, pwedeng gawin to, especially yung mga lower energy forms like I think napag-usapan nyo to before sa other subjects like we have the what you called coherent scattering. And so coherent scattering, pinapataas niya lang yung energy nung atom na tinamaan but eventually it will leave the atom but in different direction. And coherent scattering, walang nagiging removal of electron. Okay, so ang pinaka-concern natin sa mga interaction na to ng radiation at the molecular level is the possible production of what we call free radicals. Free radicals. So pag sinabi natin free radicals, these are atoms with unpaired electrons. And unpaired electrons. Unpaired electrons on the outer shell. And sa outer shell niya. Okay, so baga ba meron siyang electron na walang kapares. Usually kasi ang isa sa mga rule na sa quantum level, yung isa sa mga rule is dapat magkapares yung mga electron doon sa kanilang subshell. So pag wala silang kapares, they will look for a partner. So and that kapag nalapit sila sa mga atoms na wala rin kapares yung nasa outer shell nila, kukuhanin nila yon. And ang problem is, kapag ka etong mga atoms na to ay part ng sensitive molecule within the cell, it will be a problem dun sa interior ng cell natin. So lalo na kung yan ay highly critical molecule, let's say for instance, yung DNA molecule. So kapag ka yung DNA molecule ay tinamaan directly ng radiation, problem yon. Pero kung hindi man siya directly tamaan ng radiation, pwede pa rin siya maapektuhan. In what fashion? Say for instance, tumama yung radiation sa non-nuclear area or in the cytoplasmic area of the cell, yung mga atoms na tamaan niya doon can produce free radicals. At yung free radicals, pwede mag-travel and it can interact. Mag-interact siya sa mga atoms ng mga critical molecules such as the DNA and mapoproduce niya yung damage. Okay, so yun, that's what we call free radicals, atoms with unpaired electrons. Okay, so they are quietly reactive, yan. So highly reactive sila. Na mapanira yan sa cells, ang free radicals. Na pwede rin yan magawa ng interaction or yung energy na may impart na radiation dun sa ating molecules. Okay, so pag-usapan natin yung Okay, so pag-usapan natin yung mga types ng effect. Okay, so we have two primary types. So two types of and the two types of radiation effects, or the two types of radiation interaction rather. Interaction sa mga molecules. So the first type is the direct and the second one is the indirect. So anong pinagkaiba ng dalawang ito? So pag-usapan natin. So unahin muna natin yung direct effect. Okay, tatandaan nyo lang kapag ka direct effect ang pinag-uusapan, tumama yung radiation. So radiation, heat. Yan, heat the critical molecule. The critical molecule. At ang critical molecule naman natin is no other than the DNA. Okay, yan yung DNA natin na according to the target theory. Yan, so sa target theory. Target theory. Ito yung theory na nag-explain na kung ano yung pinaka-sensitive na molecule within the cell na critical tamaan ng radiation. So according to this theory, yung ating DNA can be affected in two possible way. Yun nga, one of that is yung direct and the other one is indirect. So kapag ka direct yung effect, according to the target theory, direct na tinamaan yung critical molecule which is DNA. And that might lead to uh, two possible scenario. So the number one is it can induce cell death, cellular death. Okay, so pwedeng yan. So, pwede siyang mamatay. So, because of the significant loss of function. Remember, ano bang ginagawa ng DNA? Siya ang tino-considered na blueprint of life because nasa kanya yung code kung paano magpo-proceed yung production ng mga significant macromolecules within the cell, particularly the protein. Yung mga proteins na parts ng mga organelles ng cell natin ay dito nagagawa dahil sa utos niya. Nasaan ba itong si DNA? Nasa nucleus. Kaya si nucleus is oftentimes cited as the most sensitive organelle because it contains the critical molecule DNA. So kapag tinamaan niyang si DNA at nasira siya ng significant, lalo na yung mga double strand breaking, yung talagang naputol siya and nagkawasak-wasak yung kanyang mga nucleotides, which is the unit of the DNA, it would result into loss of function, particularly kung protein synthesis yung nasira, yung cell natin magiging abnormal na pwede niyang ikamatay. So, yun yung pinaka devastating. Aside from the cellular death, may mga instances na hindi ganong sobra yung pagkakasira ng DNA, magkakaroon pa siya ng ability na makarecover, but it's a big problem. So pwede siyang magkaroon ng mutation. And as we know, the mutation can cause some significant errors dun sa functions ng cell natin. Isa yan sa mga triggering factor na pwedeng mag-cause ng sakit. Yan. So, yung mga effects ng radiation na pag-uusapan natin, especially the genetic effects, pero primarily concerning yung possible na production ng cancer. Yan, kaya kapag yung radiation, pwede siya mag-produce ng cancer kung yung cell na tinamaan niya ay hindi namatay but rather naging abnormal lang. Yan. So that is what we call mutation. Now, yung ano natin, kung ano naman, kung very small lang or insignificant yung energy na incorporate ng radiation sa target molecule or sa critical molecule, there's also a possibility. So siguro pangatlo, recovery. Ito yung magiging okay ulit yung cell, makaka-recover. So kapag talagang na-repair niya yung sarili niya. Pero kung hindi, it's either cellular death or mutation. Yan yung mga possible na mangyari. Okay, so yun. And speaking of cellular death, sa cellular death natin, meron tong mga possible na na classification. The first one will be the apoptosis. Okay, so pag sinabi nating apoptosis, this is the programmed cell death. So wherein the cell will undergo self-destruction. Magpapakamatay siya. So sa madaling salita. So ito yung pinaka-common na way ng cell to program itself na kailangan niya ng mamatay. So yun yung kumbaga magsusuicide na siya ng pinlano. Yan. So some of the cells na significantly destroyed by radiation, they undergo this process. Like yung red blood cell kapag 120 days, 'di ba nag-apoptosis 'yon. Hanggang doon lang kasi lifespan niya. Pero yung mga ibang mga cells kapag nakita nilang talagang wala nang chance na maka-recover yung kanilang cell body, they will off to perform this, yung programmed cell death or apoptosis. Another one, we have necrosis. So necrosis on the other hand, this is will be associated with inflammation. Yan, ito yung reason kung bakit pagka nasusugatan ka or nagkakaroon ng intoxication, yan nalagyan ka ng chemical na nakakalason, mamamaga, magkokos siya ng sobrang pamamaga, and eventually yung pamamaga na yon magsasubside kasi mamamatay na yung mga cells na na-intoxicate or na severely na damage. Aga na kapag program siya, apoptosis, pero kapag related sa inflammation, yan, that is necrosis. Yan. So necrosis din, yan, yung oftentimes necrosis yung pagka sa mga injury. Yan, yung mga injury na nasugatan or yung nagkaroon ng lack of blood supply, yan, necrosis. Yan, yung mga nagpo-progress sa pathological manifestations na tinatawag nating gangrene. And so necrosis yun. Okay, so next is mitotic catastrophe. So mitotic catastrophe. Okay, so sa mitotic catastrophe, yung cell nag-attempt siya mag-divide but because of destroyed DNA, it would undergo cell death kasi hindi siya makapag-divide. So, pinipilit niyang mag-divide pero hindi na nga siya makapag-divide. Okay, so yun, pag mitotic catastrophe, it's simply a death during cell division or during mitosis. And so ano siya, na kumbaga na caught on guard na nung nagdi-divide sana siya, hindi pala okay yung DNA niya. So mamamatay na lang yung cell instead na dumami yung mga abnormal na DNA molecule na nagawa ng radiation. And the last possible way for the cellular death incurred by radiation to happen is via senescence. Okay, pag sinabi nating senescence, this pertains to cell that will undergo permanent growth arrest. Ayan, ito yung siguro yung list na damage na nagawa ng radiation. So pag sinabi natin ganito, it simply means na yung ating cell dahil sirang-sira na yung DNA niya pero kaya niya pa namang mag-function ng normal, it will decide to arrest itself from participating in the cellular division, yung process na nagpaparami ng cell sa katawan ng organism. So forever na siyang titigil na gumalaw. Kaya pag namatay na siya, wala na siyang mga magiging progeny or magiging mga daughter cells. Yan. So para ma-contain na yung abnormal na DNA na nagawa ng radiation interaction. Yan. So yun yung mga types ng cellular death natin. Okay, so next na pag-uusapan natin will be the indirect effect naman. Okay, for the indirect effect, this simply means na not DNA yung direct na tinamaan. But affected siya. Affected siya by what? Affected by free radicals. Yung mga reactive oxygen species na nagawa ng pagtama ng radiation doon sa mga molecules na nasa cytoplasm. So ang pinakamalaki kasing region ng cell is the cytoplasm. And as we know, around around 70 to 80%. Yan, around 70 to 80% ng cytoplasm is water, is H2O. The majority of the time sa indirect effect, this is brought by the break off of water pag tinatamaan siya ng radiation. Mag-i-split kasi ito into hydronium ion, tapos magiging hydroxide ion, tapos magre-react yung dalawang yan, forming yung mga yung mga hydroxide yan, or yung mga yung mga yung superoxide, o basically yung mga toxic substances na nakikreate or byproduct ng pag-break ng water pag tinamaan siya ng radiation. And yun yung mga pwede mag-travel, and they can eventually go as a form of free radical to to the nucleus. So grabbing some electron or distorting the electronic configuration of the DNA molecule within the nucleus. So kaya magiging abnormal yung DNA, pero hindi na si radiation yung direktang gumawa nun, but instead yung mga byproducts ng nagawang reaction nung radiation sa water. By the way, ang tawag natin sa pag-break off ng water para mag-create ng mga free radicals, yan yung mga free radicals na reactive. Saka yung mga toxic substances like hydrogen peroxide is what we call radiolysis of water. And when we said radiolysis, this basically pertains to the break off of the hydrogen bond of the water due to the energy produced by or energy incorporated by radiation, by the incoming radiation. So tumama yung radiation, na hati niya, na split niya yung mga atoms na nagko-constitute ng molecules ng water, and resulting nga into toxic substances and highly reactive species like free radicals na dangerous for the DNA, which is the critical molecule as stated by the target theory. And so yun yung mga nila. So commonly yung mga yung mga radicals, may tatlong common na radicals diyan, or poisonous substances, mga dangerous substance na nakikreate ng ng radiolysis of water. And one of the mentioned here is yung ating yung hydrogen peroxide. Yan, so they can cause oxidative stress. Pag sinabing oxidative, mangunguha, mga agaw ng mga agaw ng electron sa atom. And remember, pag natatanggalan ng electron, that could cause abnormality. Yan, abnormality dun sa molecular bonds. Yan, yung hydroxide, pero yan nga, na-mention na rin dito, yung hydroxy free radicals. Yan, yung hydroxyl free radicals. Yan, so may sobrang electrons yan that can cause radiation-induced damage. The majority of the time, siya yung pinaka-cause ng radiation-induced damage by indirect effect. Yung hydroxyl radicals. Yan, hydroxyl radicals. Pwede rin yung mga hydrated electrons. Yan, yung hydrated electrons. Yan, hydrated electrons. Yung hydrated electrons naman, they oftentimes alter biomolecules like yung proteins, yung mga free proteins, yung mga ribosomic proteins, and yung mga enzymes sa loob ng cell. Yan, pwede silang maapektuhan ng hydrated electrons. Okay, so now let's talk about the Okay, so pag-usapan natin yung mga factors. Factors affecting energy transfer. Okay, number one factor is the radiation type. Okay, so yung mga ano natin, yung mga radiation, may mga types yan depending upon the energy they are carried. So especially when we talk about yung LET. Pag sinabi nating LET, linear energy transfer. And linear energy transfer. Okay, so etong LET or linear energy transfer, kapag mas mataas to sa radiation, they oftentimes can can give more energy dun sa mga tinatamaan nilang tissues or molecules. So dahil sa mas mapaminsala or mas malakas manira yung mga radiation na may mataas na lead. At ang best example nga nito yung alpha particles. Okay, so kapag mataas yung lead, they are the highly ionizing. Ang alpha particles nga lang, I think na-mention ko to sa inyo before, it is quite safe outside the body. Why? Kasi the having a higher lead can result into lower penetration. So dahil sobrang lakas niyang maglabas ng energy, hindi na siya masyadong makatagos doon pa sa mas malalim na tissue depth ng katawan natin. And remember, outside the body, the outermost layer of the epidermis of the skin, particularly the stratum corneum, is composed of dead skin cells. So, dun pa lang sa patay na mga cells ng balat, hindi na siya makatagos. So, ay hindi siya significant na problem pag outside. But once na mapasok siya accidentally, whether inhalation, contamination of water you drink, or food or sinadya like na-inject sa'yo, it will be a big problem kasi sisirain niya talaga having the advantage of already inside the body and yung mga buhay na mga cell na yung kanyang in contact, i-ionize niya yun ng sobra-sobra, having a higher LET or what we call linear energy transfer. Pag sinabi kasi nating LET or linear energy transfer, this is the amount of energy and amount na energy na naita-transfer, energy transferred by radiation as it travel dun sa kanyang medium. Yan. So ano bang common medium kung pasyente pinag-uusapan? Yung tissues ng pasyente. So habang tumatago sa laman niya yung radiation, yung nagiiwan yon ng footprint. Anong footprint ng radiation? Yung energy na nabawas sa dala niya doon sa na nakapasok doon sa mga tissues, especially at the atomic and molecular level. Yan. Kaya posibleng mangyari yung mga pinag-uusapan natin kanina. And so that is what we call the LET or linear energy transfer. And oftentimes LET is directly proportional to what we call RBE. And so directly proportional to the RBE. Ano naman tong si RBE? Si RBE is relative biologic effectiveness. Relative biologic effectiveness. And effectiveness. Okay, kapag mataas ang LET, tumataas din yung ating pag mataas si LET, mataas yung tinatawag nating RBE or relative biologic effectiveness. Pag sinabi naman nating relative biologic effectiveness, ito yung gaano kapaminsala yung radiation compared doon sa iba pang radiation. So kino-compare siya. So oftentimes ang ating baseline or yung basis is the diagnostic X-ray. Ayan, yung diagnostic X-ray natin. Ang diagnostic X-ray kasi, ang relative biologic effectiveness niya is 1. Ayan, so wala namang unit yan, basta gaano lang siya kapaminsala, 1. So kapag mas mataas sa 1, so mas damaging sila or mas dangerous sila kaysa sa diagnostic X-ray na ginagamit natin, yung around 30 to 150 kV. Yan yung level kasi ng diagnostic X-ray. So, pagka mas mataas pa sa 1, mas dangerous. Pag mas mababa sa 1, mas less less concern when it comes to biologic effect. Yan. So, yun yung pinag-uusapan nating relative biologic effectiveness na directly proportional sa LET. Kaya pag tumaas yung LET, tataas din yung possible damage na ma-incur ng ating radiation dun sa mga tissues na tinamaan niya. Okay, so next one na ano natin na concern sa factors is the tissue density and tissue density. So for tissue density, so the more denser or the denser rather, the denser the tissue, the higher the likelihood na makapag-absorb siya ng energy ng radiation. So yung interaction kasi na tataas yung tinatawag nating photoelectric absorption. So kung masyadong dense yung structure, let's say bones na mataas ang density or any organs na mataas ang density niya, kapag dumaan sa kanya yung radiation, dahil maraming ang electrons na available, yung mga atoms na nagko-constitute nun, mas maraming tatamaan, makaka-absorb ng energy ng incoming radiation. Kaya ang tissue density is a significant factor as well. Okay, the third factor is the radiation dose. Yan yung radiation dose natin. Okay, syempre obviously ito kapag mataas yung absorbed dose na nakuha ng pasyente or na nagawa ng radiation sa pasyente, it will result to higher biological effect. Yan. So yung radiation dose natin na napag-usapan na before, like yung sa exposure, the air kerma, the Roentgen, kapag ka sa absorb, yung ating gray or yung radiation absorbed dose, mataas yun, magre-result yun to higher radiation dose equivalent or effective dose na yung effective dose, yun na yung dose na may significant effect sa katawan ng pasyente. Meron na siya na yung basis ng production ng effect or what we call threshold dosing as we talk about sa other types pa or classification ng effect ng radiation. Okay, next thing to mention is the cellular sensitivity. Yan, yung cell sensitivity natin. So, yung mga cells, meron silang different levels of sensitivity. Meron yang high, moderate, and low. At may mga factors yun ng basis nila kung sila ba ay magiging highly sensitive, radiosensitive, or radioresistant sa effects ng radiation. And may law na nag-govern dyan na pag-uusapan natin sa mga susunod na discussion. So, yung mga tissues na basically actively dividing and young, they are more prone sa damage ng radiation. Samantalang yung mga mature na, well-differentiated, nagpe-perform na ng kanilang function sa katawan, they are more protected against the effect of radiation. And yung explanation nun, may separate na topic. And another topic kasi may tawag tayo sa yung law of ganyan. Basta may that's separate discussion. Okay, so yan, I forgot to mention pala. So next thing, aside from the cell sensitivity, so supposedly dapat mas una siya, yung time. And isa sa mga cardinal principles ng radiation protection, exposure time. Siyempre, mas matagal yung radiation na tumatama, mas madami yung energy na share niya sa mga na-irradiate na tissue. Yan. So, kaya the lesser the time, the shorter exposure time, lesser possible damage ng radiation. Okay. Yan, that's ano. Okay, so pag-usapan lang natin yung some of the RBE. So some of the RBE ng ating radiation. And so yung relative biologic effectiveness, yung gaano sila ka paminsala sa natin sa compared sa diagnostic X-ray. Okay, so for the RBE, so we have the diagnostic X-ray as the basis. So let's say diagnostic X-ray. Okay, so we have the diagnostic X-ray. Tapos yung diagnostic X-ray natin, let's say this is the LET. By the way, ang LET natin, ang unit niya is kilo electron volt per micrometer. So per micrometer of travel, yung kilo electron volts or yung lakas ng energy na naiwan niya dun sa thickness ng tissue. So that is LET. So ito naman yung corresponding RBE. So as mentioned kanina, 1 ang diagnostic X-ray, samantalang ang LET naman ng diagnostic X-ray is 3 kilo electron volt per micrometer. So diagnostic X-ray yan. So in some books, though we know it is 30 to 150, in some books they use 250 as the basis for the kilo-electron volt of diagnostic X-ray or yung standard X-ray natin sa paggawa ng RBE. Pero again, ang range niyan 30 to 150. But for the sake of RBE, sinasagad nila hanggang 250 si diagnostic. Yan. Then going to medyo mas mababa ng konti, we have the 1 mega electron volt electron. So pwede rin yung electrons na nagka-travel. So they just need to travel fast and they can have ionizing effect. Yan. So kaya nga sa cancer treatment, as you have that subject, ginagamit din yung electrons. Yan, meron din siya kasing ionizing effect. So around 0.3 lang yung kanyang RLET and ang kanya namang RBE is 0.9 yung electrons. Yung cobalt 60, yan, yung cobalt 60 na gamma, yan, so gamma, ang kanyang let ay katulad ng sa electron 0.3 and 0.9 din yung RBE niya and compared to diagnostic X-ray. Yung 25 megavolt X-ray na ginagamit sa cancer treatment, 0.2 lang yung kanyang let. And so ibig sabihin, again ang rule natin, pag mas mababa ang let, mas tumatagos. Kaya sa cancer treatment, this is favorable characteristic na kaya niyang ma-reach yung mga deep-sitting tumors o yung mga malalalim na bukol. Okay, so yan, then 0.8 ang RBE niyan. So going to higher one, compared to diagnostic X-ray, 10 mega electron volt protons. So ang protons natin ay 4, ang kanyang RBE ay 5. Yan, so mas mapaminsala na siya sa diagnostic X-ray. Fast neutrons. Yan, yung mga neutrons din. Pag pinag-travel ng sobrang bilis sa mga accelerators, they can gain 50 na let with corresponding 10 RBE. Yung alpha particles na may energy na 5 mega electron volt na alpha particle, they can gain 100 yan. So napakalaki na ng R ng let niyan. Sobrang lakas na energy yung kanyang ini-incorporate. So ang nito, ang RBE niya is around 20. So 20 yung RBE. For yung even the whole atom, the entire atom, yung nucleus niya, to be specific, yung heavy nuclei, bawa yung uranium nucleus, pag pinag-travel mo siya ng sobrang bilis, it can reach up to 1,000 let. Then ang kanyang RBE is 30. Kapag tumataas ang RBE, mas mapaminsala. Yan. Pagka naman tumataas ang let, ang equivalent, aside from mataas ang RBE nun, yung penetration niya, mas hindi kaya kayang tumagos. Yan, mas nabablock siya. Okay, so by the way, ang RBE natin, nakukompute pala to, ang computation niya will be this formula. Yung dose ng diagnostic X-ray. So dose nung diagnostic, and yung nandun sa around 250. Yan, yung ating may RBE na 1. So sa dose ng diagnostic over yung dose ng test radiation. Yan, yung test na radiation. So halimbawa, yung alpha particle, yung dose niya, ipang-divide dun sa dose ng diagnostic X-ray. And so that's the formula for RBE. Okay. So that's okay. So yun, those are the RBE natin. Wait, ano pala to? Baliktad. So, baliktad siya. I-correct lang natin yung mabura. Correct ko lang. It should be baliktad. It should be yung dose ng test radiation and dose of test radiation over yung dose ng diagnostic. Yan yung dose na nagawa ng diagnostic X-ray. Yan. So yun yung pag-compute ng radiobiologic effectiveness. Okay, so last to mention na connected din sa tatlo as a part of the physical factors affecting the effects of radiation is the OER. So ano naman tong si OER? OER pertains to oxygen enhancement ratio. Enhancement ratio. So basically, sinasabi lang ng OER or oxygen enhancement ratio na kapag present ang oxygen, mas na-amplify niya yung effect ng radiation. Okay, so pag mas oxy or more oxygen ang present, mas madaling mag-cause ng effect ang radiation compared kapag ka ang condition ay anoxic or wala halos oxygen na present. So mas madaming radiation yung kailangan bago ma-produce yung same na effect na nangyari nung maraming present na oxygen. So kaya tinawag na oxygen enhancement. Nakakapag-enhance ng effect ng radiation ang oxygen, especially yung indirect effect. Yan, yung production kasi ng free radicals ay mas dumadami, yung mga reactive oxygen species. Okay, so may formula rin to, yung ano natin, yung OER. So ang formula ng OER will be this one. Yan, yung dose in anoxic. Yan, dose na anoxic. Ibig sabihin yung dose na walang oxygen, tapos yung dose na oxygenated. Oxygenated. Okay, oftentimes mas malaki yung dose ng oxygenated compared sa dose ng I mean ng dose ng anoxy compared sa dose ng oxygenated. Kapag ang ano natin, ang na-compute na OER is around 2.5 lang to 3, it's often low. Yan, low OER to. Pero kapag that is close to 1, close to 1 close to 1 na OER, ang kanilang, I mean, ano pala to, this is should be its relationship to let. Okay, ang let kasi is inversely proportional. And, so, si let is inversely proportional and inversely proportional and to let si OER. So meaning kapag mataas ang let, mababa ang oxygen enhancement radiation ng radiation. So usually yung mga low let radiation, and yung mga low let radiation natin, ang kanyang OER is 2.5 to ano lang to 3. And tapos samantalang etong mga mataas naman yung let, and yung mga high let radiation like yung alpha particle, ang OER nila is around 1 or approximately closer to 1 ang OER. Kaya yun yung relationship ng let sa OER natin. The higher the let, yung linear energy transfer, like yung sa alpha particle, mas mababa yung kanyang oxygen enhancement ratio. Kasi mas they proceed to doing yung ating direct effect over the indirect effect na mas pinopromote ng OER. Okay, so hanggang dito muna tayo sa ating discussion, and we will further elaborate this one as we apply them sa mga specific na effects ng radiation na pag-uusapan natin sa next chapters. Okay, so thank you, class, and I hope you've learned something.